This video is brought to you by Squarespace. What if Super Mario Bros. Wonder had brand new badges? What would they be exactly? Well, today I'll be going over 25 brand new badges that I think could work well in the game. This game has 3 different kinds: Action, Boost, and Expert. I've put together 10 Action badges, 8 Boost badges, and 7 Expert badges. Let's start things off with Throw Coins. Throw purple coins from your inventory as an attack. Hold the R button to throw 3 coins at a time. So there's quite a few attack options in Mario Bros. Wonder already, but I feel like having the ability to sacrifice your purple coins as an attack that you can use at any time would be really neat. Now, the only issue with that is that you'd have to disable the other power-ups, or you wouldn't be able to throw coins when you have a power-up equipped. Another potential problem is that you can max your purple coin count up to 999, which could lead to making the game broken, but also probably not. Mario can throw infinite fireballs, so having basically infinite coins would probably be fine. Next we have Slide Kick. Push down and Y on the ground and Mario will slide in front of him. Or in other words, the same slide kick that Mega Man does. Slide kicks in 2D platformers are a lot of fun, and we've kind of seen Mario have one in the past. He can do a slide kick in Super Mario 64 that bounces a bit, but I think just a regular one that can attack small enemies would add a lot of flow to the game. Imagine just running forward and there's a couple Goombas. Instead of jumping over them, just slide kick through them and then get back up immediately and just keep on running. Next up, Ground Pound Jump. Push B as you hit the ground after a ground pound, and get extra height on your jump. Super Mario Odyssey has this exact move, and it's incredibly satisfying to pull off. Now, I know the ground pound jump works well in that game because it allows you to more easily align Mario's hat throw, but I could see it working really well in Mario Bros. Wonder 2. If you need to get somewhere higher up but there's also enemies nearby, you could smash them with your booty while also getting the jump you wanted. And the next badge is Dash. Press Y and dash in any direction you aim towards. You cannot alter the dash direction while it's in motion. Here we've got a move that's inspired by Celeste. I absolutely adore this one. It's one of my favorite platformers, and what makes it so fun is the movement. Being able to dash around the stages adds so much exhilaration and a sense of control, and I can see it working really well for Mario Wonder 2. I feel like the one drawback this badge would need to have is that you cannot hurt enemies while you're dashing. Because if you could dash and attack, well, you could just dash through the whole level without even trying. And next up is Pick 'em Up. No more stomping enemies. Now you'll stand on top and pick them up to be thrown. This works on the ground and in midair. Here we've got one that's exclusive to Super Mario Bros. 2. It's still such a bizarre concept for a platformer. You can pick up vegetables or pick up enemies for throwing. But if Mario Maker 2 taught us anything, it's that the concept still works really well in the modern era. So why not make it a badge in Mario Bros. Wonder? Make it so small enemies can be picked up quickly, and the bigger enemies take longer, just like with smaller and bigger vegetables. Next, we have Shoulder Bash. Press Y to dash forward and attack enemies with your shoulder. As you'd expect, this one is inspired by Wario from the Wario Land games. The Shoulder Bash is an incredibly satisfying move in those titles. Just being able to plow through enemies while also gaining a burst of speed is really fun. I do have to wonder how powerful this Shoulder Bash would have to be though, because you could potentially just spam it and never get hit by anything. It might make sense to have a moment where you need to recharge the badge or something like that. After that, we have Super Jump Punch. Press Y to perform a powerful punch into the air, taking out small and big enemies in one hit. Yep, I'm even digging into the Smash Bros. Series. This is one of the most iconic moves that Mario has for his moveset, and it's perfect for a game like this. You just punch really high in the air and take out all the enemies in one hit. But afterwards, you're kind of stunned for a second until you land somewhere. This could potentially slow down the flow of the game, but it could also be really useful. It's kind of a similar idea to the crouching high jump, only with a little more oomph. And next we've got Dive. Press Y and perform a dive through the air. You'll slide for a bit, and if you're going fast enough, you can roll out and continue running forward. I really enjoy diving in the 3D Mario games. That's what makes the movement in Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine so satisfying, and it's kind of shocking this has never happened in a 2D Mario game. And it'd also be awesome if you could kind of aim your dive a bit too. Maybe if you tilt the joystick up, your dive heads up a bit more, and then if you tilt it straight to the left or right, it's perfectly straight and you get a bit more distance. Up next is Florian. Throw Florian in an arc and he'll either collect coins near him or slowly attack an enemy. So Florian is kind of the mascot for Mario Bros. Wonder, although he's also really easy to forget about. We see Prince Florian in some of the cutscenes of course, but he doesn't really show up in the gameplay, so why not turn him into an extra attack? I mean, he's already helping us, being the official badge master himself. And finally for the action badges, we have Flower Power. Pick up the talking flower and press Y to make him shoot a fireball that flies forward. He can fire 3 fireballs and only 1 flower works per level. The talking flower is a really goofy part of Mario Bros. Wonder. Some love him, some hate him. I feel like it's kind of a mixed bag. So wouldn't it be awesome if he could actually spew fire at enemies? It would be such a jarring badge, considering we all know of this flower as just the guy that talks about whatever the hell he wants. I mean, have him say goofy lines while he's shooting fireballs. And that's all I got for action badges. I tried to come up with ideas that weren't already in the game yet, so let me know in the comments what ideas you've got. But anyway, let's move on to boost badges. First up we have Shield. Take 1 extra hit from an enemy without downgrading your power-up. This one is pretty self-explanatory. Shields are pretty common in a lot of platformers, so having one that lets you take an extra hit seems like it'd make for a pretty good badge. I wonder how it would look though. Would they just go with the Sonic approach and make it a big spear, or do something totally different? Who knows? Moving on to the next one, the Midas Touch. All brick blocks that you touch immediately turn into coins. At first, I was thinking about how the gold flower exists in New Super Mario Bros. 2, and then it got me thinking about King Midas the Golden Touch, a classic story where everything the king touches turns into coins. If this concept were just applied to brick blocks, that could be a really fun way to play levels and change them up drastically. Now, levels that rely on brick blocks would make this a problem, of course, but maybe if the blocks that already have coins in them just don't disappear, that could be a workaround. Next we've got Sensor 2.0. Detect significant items like the Wonder Flower and 10 flower coins, as well as secret exit locations. Admittedly, this is probably the least creative badge I thought of. You can already tell what levels have secret exits by looking at the level select and seeing if you have a check mark, even after getting the 10 flower coins and Wonder Seeds. So that's great and all, but having an indicator that hints that your nearest secret exit would be a nice upgrade to this badge, albeit maybe it's too similar to the original version. But anyway, next we've got Sleepy Time. All enemies are asleep. If you wake any of them up, they attack more aggressively than usual. It's so funny seeing Goombas taking a nap in some of the levels, so why not have a badge where all the enemies are catching up on some Z's? And obviously, if you do attack them for whatever reason, they attack much more aggressively than usual. I mean, I'd be pretty mad too if some dude abruptly woke me up or killed my Goomba friend right next to me. After that, we have Auto Cape. Enemy projectiles are automatically flung back towards the enemy with Mario's cape. There's a brief charge period if the cape is used too much. So it's a little surprising that Mario's classic yellow cape doesn't make any sort of appearance at all in Mario Bros. Wonder. I think turning it into a reflector-based badge would be the best way to go about incorporating it into the game without turning it into another power-up. And having a charge period would help prevent the badge from being too overpowered. Up next, we've got Purple Coin Sacrifice. If you die, you can respawn exactly where you died, but you must give up 50% of your purple coins. Yep, taking a bit of the Dark Souls / Shovel Knight approach with this one. Now, I didn't die very often when playing through Mario Bros. Wonder, but I did definitely get stuck on a few stages. So a badge like this would make you give up your precious purple coins as a trade-off. Now, if you've already purchased all the badges and standees, then maybe this badge would be super overpowered. But the thing is, if you've already beaten the entire game, then does it really matter at that point? But anyway, now we have Mind Control. Small enemies become enamored with you when you get close and they'll follow from behind, helping keeping you safe from the back. Only one enemy at a time will do this. I just feel like it'd be really amusing if any enemy you run into just starts hanging out with you while you're just running around. And having them as a mode of defense would be great too. I really just want one of those mamas or something just, hanging out and eating Goombas along the way. That'd be cool. And finally, we've got Color Power. A Rowlette is spun while the level is loading and randomly picks a color. Whatever color is selected gives you double the coins every time that color is touched. Works once per object. Okay, so I know this one is a bit complex, and honestly, I got the idea from the color challenges that are on YouTube. Those videos are incredibly silly. And for how weird Mario Bros. Wonder is, a badge like that would fit in well. Wouldn't it be great if your color was green and every time you hit a new patch of grass you would just get free coins? But yeah, that's all the ideas I've got for boost badges. Last but not least, of course, is expert badges, and I tried to make them as sadistic as possible. Starting off with Blue Shell. You're stuck inside a blue shell. You can jump and attack enemies, but you'll always be moving. This is basically the blue shell from New Super Mario Bros. DS, but you're moving at the same constant speed the entire time. Years ago, I tried to beat that game while being trapped inside the blue shell, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I don't know how doable this would be, considering some parts of Mario Bros. Wonder require you to stand on a pipe for it to sink, but maybe some workarounds could be made so you could technically beat the whole game like this. But moving on, we have living off coins. Start the level with 10 coins, but they drain and you die at 0. Coin count only maxes to 20 coins. If you really want to make coins feel valuable, this is a good way of going about that. Now, there's already a lot of places to get coins in all the levels, so maybe it wouldn't be too hard as long as you don't get stuck anywhere with no coins. This is another idea we've seen from other challenge YouTubers, and this idea could translate well to the game too. And next we've got this, OHKO, die in one hit, no matter what power-up you're using. Pretty self-explanatory, you die in one hit. I don't see Nintendo ever adding anything like this in a Mario game, but it would be really cool to see that. The later levels can be pretty easy to get hit by things, so this badge would toughen things up a bit. Up next we have Poisonous Takeover. All power-ups change to poison mushrooms. You'll die instantly if you touch them, and they also jump when you jump. Taking a bit of a Mario Bros. Levels The Lost Levels approach with this one. I also really love how in Mario Maker 2, the poison mushrooms jump with you. I think that just makes them all the more evil. So why not fill Mario Bros. Wonder with some of these bad boys, huh? And now we've got the sprained knee. Jump height has been cut in half. Can you still survive? Here we have a really basic idea that could drastically change the game. This one change could force you to start using enemies for extra jumps and completely change how you get through the level. I could see Nintendo actually doing this one too. And next up is Gravity Shifter. Every time you jump, gravity flips itself. Alright, so I'll be honest, this is the least likely badge to happen. There's a lot of levels that have open skies, so this probably wouldn't work that well. But if you could swap the gravity in mid-air, you could technically use it to weave your way through levels, but then at that point, it wouldn't really be an expert badge, so I don't know. Not the greatest idea, but I just love the game VVVVVV that uses this mechanic as its main premise, so I figured I'd throw it out there. And for the last badge, we have Chatterbox. The talking flower will speak to you really fast or really slow. It's random every time. If Mario Bros. Wonder's last badge is going to be a joke, then why not do the same for this video? Having the talking flower talk at slow or fast speeds would just be completely random, and potentially really funny depending on the situation. Oh, wait a second, I forgot about a badge. That's the Squarespace badge! They're the best and most powerful place to create the slickest websites. New to Squarespace is the Fluid Engine, a next-generation website design system that makes it even easier to make a website. There's also Squarespace extensions that connect your store to vetted third-party tools to extend functionality, and the analytics page makes it easier to see who's vetting your site and where people are coming from. Last year, I put together a website for my YouTube series Bandy's Universe, and I'm still keeping it up to date because of how easy it is to manage and organize the content. So with that, go to squarespace.com/Nathaniel to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. The link is in the description. And that is all the new badge ideas I've got for Mario Bros. Wonder. I highly doubt Nintendo will do any of this for the game, it's probably completely finished, but if any modders are watching the video, then please go crazy with the concept. I'd love to see what you got, and with that, thanks for watching.